folks, to South Africa. It's a little cold and windswept out here. We are in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, down on the south tip. When I grew up, this was called the Cape of Good Hope, which referred to the whole southern tip of Africa. I've been recently corrected on that. Today, the Cape of Good Hope refers to a string of mountains, which is on the Atlantic side of the south tip. But regardless, here we are in Port Elizabeth. Let's hop aboard where it's a little bit quieter. Ooh, and gather our thoughts inside here. Looking at some of the outside buildings, it looks like they have a bit of poverty here in southern Africa. We are in a German Luftwaffe aircraft. Let's say we have some diplomats aboard, and we're heading for, oh goodness, I forget the name of the airport. Oh goodness, it's a big one. Cape, oh goodness, how embarrassing to forget where you're going. Maybe I should. Okay, we're in Port Elizabeth and we're going to Capetown. Capetown, I knew it would come to me. Capetown, Africa, about an hour and a half flight. A little longer flight than I'm usually used to, but hopefully you'll ride along with me and we can enjoy the ride. So, oh, do we have some, I thought for just a bit we had some animals there just in front of the aircraft, but it looks like the wind is blowing some of the vegetation around. We are using current weather and time conditions. I can see the clouds are rapidly moving across the skies, so I imagine we do have a little wind. Let's get some power on this airplane. We do have power available. We'll turn on battery switch 1, battery switch 2. We'll turn on that external power. Get some exterior lights on. Turn on nav 1 and 2, nav 1 or nav 2, they're redundant to each other. Turn the wing lights on. We'll arm the strobe lights. They won't come on until we're out there ready to take off. And we'll leave the beacon off. This will allow the ground crew to do their thing.
Let's start setting up.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the cabin crew is in the back. She'll do her thing. We'll arm the emergency exit lights. Turn on the no smoking sign. Turn on the seatbelt sign. We don't have the APU running, so there's no bleed air for the air conditioning packs, but we'll get the packs up here to temperature in anticipation of that. Also, we don't have a jet bridge, so we're going to have the cabin open to the outside elements, which means the air conditioning wouldn't last long in any case. But we'll get that set up ahead of time. We'll get the ADIR system started. Our inertia reference system will go from off to nav on system number 1, off to nav on system number 2, and off to nav on system number 3. We will do an APU fire test. Get the APU running here in just a bit, and we'll do a cargo smoke test. I like to hold off on starting the APU as long as reasonably possible to save any fuel. No need to burn fuel unnecessarily. So for right now, we're done with the overhead. Let's go down to our flight management computer and figure this whole thing out. Let's talk to the company first by going to the ATSU menu, the aircraft company menu. We can request some weather. METAR is current condition weather. This is the most valuable weather. We are at Foxtrot Alpha Papa Echo, Port Elizabeth Airport, and we're going to Foxtrot Alpha Charlie Tango Capetown Airport. And don't want to put any other airports in there. So we'll send that. We'll also ask for a TAF, Terminal Aerodrome Forecast, for those same airports. And that should be fine. We'll do an initialization. Get our initialization data from our sim brief. There we go. FAPE to fact. Fuel on board is 9.5. We'll verify that. Push the fuel button and look up at the EFA screen. We have 9460 kilograms on board. So that is correct. Our flight number is correct. We'll go to the second page, which I believe is used to fill out information after the flight. Yes, this after the flight, you would come in and you would type in when you came in, when you left, flight time, who the pilot was. This is for record-keeping purposes, but we don't need it to start the flight. We'll go down to perform and weight and balance. We'll send in a request for the information from our flight plan. Trip fuel, 3117. That's all we need, but we've got a lot more than that. So let's load the aircraft towards what we need. There we go. Whoa! My fuel on board just oh my goodness, I know why. That's the trip fuel. What we should have been looking at is the block fuel. And the block fuel is 10,211. So now we're at 10,140 by pushing that load button. So we're actually, this is the first time ever that I've not unloaded fuel for a flight. We've actually added fuel. I've never done that before, so that's a first for me. We'll toggle over to the next page, 1 of 2. This is page 2 of 2. And here's our passenger count, 148, our center of gravity, our zero fuel weight. Here's how our baggage is distributed, and we'll push the load button to load that into the aircraft. Great. Back to the McDo menu. We'll go to the FMGC menu, which is the flight management computer. I will verify the engine type on our A32NX. I will check our AIRAC cycle, which this one is out of date. For our purposes, we'll say it's current. And our secondary database is also out of date. We will go to the initialization screen. Oh, let me go back to data. Go to aircraft status. Okay, that's good. Initialization screen. I'm going to do an initialization request from our sim brief. Here we go. FAPE to fact. They've given us an alternative FY Whiskey Bravo, Yankee Whiskey Bravo. You know, honestly, I have no idea where that is, but I'm not going to worry about it because with the good weather we have, I'm not going to assume an alternate. The cost index is way down in the toilet. My goodness, I don't ever want to fly with a cost index of only 5. It is very efficient, but it won't get us there. Won't feed. In my lingo, it won't feed the bulldog. So let's feed the bulldog. Let's put 85 in there. If this is a number from 1 to 99, or 1 to 100, I believe it's 100. And the higher the number is, the less efficient you are, but you get there a little bit faster. So that's my goal. We'll put in 85. Initialization has 2 pages. We'll go to the second page. You can see by the flip-flop indication here at the top. Again, we'll get our information from our sim brief by pushing that button just on the right-hand side of the orange blocks. Remember, when you see the orange blocks, that's required information. So we'll get our zero fuel weight and our center of gravity. We know our onboard weight as 10,140 kilograms. So we'll just add that in directly into the block fuel. Don't need to do any fuel planning. Oh goodness, not allowed. I wonder why not. Did I do? Oh, I think I did something wrong. I didn't give it the format that it likes. I think it wants 10.1 would be a more appropriate format. There we go. And you can see all of the phases of flight have been calculated with their estimated fuel use. Next is the performance page. We've calculated beforehand a flex temp of 56. I'll put that in. I've also calculated a flap setting of 1 with a trim setting of 0.2 down. I'll enter that in. Oops, there we go. And while I don't want, I want to pull away from the flight computer just for a moment. I never want to forget anything. So while I have it in my mind, I'm going to move the trim wheel to 0.2 down, just like that. And that way, I'll know that it's done. I don't know what the transition altitude here is in South Africa. It can vary from country to country. It can also vary from region to region. I'm a North American pilot, so I'm used to flying with a transition altitude of 18,000 feet. Here, the default is 10,000 feet. For our purposes, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 10,000 feet, and we will let the aircraft calculate our V-speeds. We have 138 on the V2, 134 on the VR, rotate speed, and 133 on the V1. Our performance calculations are now complete. Let's move on to our progress. We're set up for an economy cruise. I'm going to go to the flight plan. We have no departure out of FAPE. I believe our runway is runway 26. So departure, runway, let's look at these runway lengths. All these runway lengths are sufficient for our purposes. So 26 is the most in line with the wind according to air traffic control. There are no SIDs available, so we'll insert that. This is a little bit of a longer flight, and I'm going to do what real world pilots often do. I'm going to hold off on entering our arrival data until we're in the air. And the reason for that is winds can change, runways can change, you're never quite sure. You know, with a shorter flight, and especially in the sim world where you have a lot more control, many pilots go ahead and enter in their destination information at this time. But more realistically, we would do it while we're in the air. So that's what I'll do. We are done with the McDo. Our predictive wind shear system, I'm going to turn on. I'll arm the speed brakes. Make sure my parking brake is on. Make sure my engine mode selector is in neutral. Make sure my engine switches are off. Make sure my thrust handles are in the idle position. Make sure my landing gear handle is down. I'm going to set max on the auto brakes. On a Boeing, this would be RTO or rejected takeoff, but here in the Airbus, it's simply max. Kick up some more of these light switches while I have the opportunity. One of the things I wish that...
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, you can start boarding.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can start boarding, but there's one little housekeeping thing I need to take care of outside. We need to get those stairs up on our boarding door. Let's see if I can do that. Those stairs move awful slow. This is default scenery for Port Elizabeth, Africa. Maybe while those stairs are slowly inching their way up to the boarding door, maybe I'll also get the baggage folks started. We are diplomats, and we do travel with some baggage. Well, it's not a jet bridge, but those stairs seem very stable. Better than using the aircraft-equipped stairs, certainly. Back to work. Let me just check in with the ground crew, see how they're looking down there. Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
Are we... are we cleared to pressurize the hydraulics?
Thanks, have a good flight and we'll see you later.
Oops, that's not what I wanted. Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Okay, I wait.
Are we cleared to pressurize the hydraulics? Here we go. Confirm all ground checks are complete and we are cleared to pressurize the hydraulics.
Once the check is completed, all doors and panels are closed, no issues found. You can pressurize your drawings at a time now.
Thank you. Wonderful. Let's get our clearance. Port Elizabeth clearance delivery. Luftwaffe-for tree. Ready to copy. We have our transponder code setting. We've gone into the traffic advisory mode. We've also set the transponder into automatic. We're doing pretty well. I see our first officer has returned from doing her exterior checks. Let's run a checklist.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
Adheres.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
Set.
Take out data.
Set.
Barrel rep.
1 0 1 3. Set.
1 0 1 3. Set. Down to the line.
Wonderful.
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Thanks.
No problem. Have a safe flight.
We have the load sheet. Let's lock the cabin door.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today. As you locate your assigned seat, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you to provide more room for larger items in our overhead compartment. If you need assistance, contact the flight attendant. If you are unable to accommodate any item in the cabin, please bring it to the boarding door and we will check it for you. Also review the safety instruction card in your seat pocket. If you are seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seat criteria.
We've turned on the fuel pumps. We've done a fire test on engine number 1 and on engine number 2. We turned on the master switch to the APU, counted to 3 seconds, then we went to start. We're going to provide APU bleed, which will get that air conditioning going. It'll also provide high pressure air to start the engines. I'm going to turn on the annunciator light test switch, and this will turn on every light bulb in the house. And what this allows me to do is to check the bulbs and filaments and LEDs, and I'm looking for any LED or bulb or filament that might be burned out. Then we would go to the MIL, or minimum equipment list, and the minimum equipment list would tell you whether that damaged or missing or broken component is okay to fly with. Some damage or mal indication you can fly with, and some you can't. You got to check that minimum equipment list. Also, I would check the aircraft logbook, see if there are any previous squawks on this aircraft. They're all located, most of them are located behind the pilot seat. And also you would want to check the, make sure the proper documents are on board. We had a fault on our door lock. I wonder why that is. Oh, because I know why. Because I have the light, test light on. There we go. Turn that test light off. There we go. Now it should be normal. Yes, the door's locked. Ooh, had me going there for I'd never seen that fault on the door lock switch before. Again, turn up some of these integrity lights. And now that the cabin crew has made their initial introduction to the passengers, I think it's my turn.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck. This is the captain speaking. On behalf of the entire flight crew and myself, I'd like to welcome you aboard today's flight. Our flight attendants are there for your comfort, but more importantly for your safety, so please give them a few minutes of your undivided attention while we go over the safety features of this aircraft. Once the boarding process is complete, we'll get the cabin door closed and push off the gate for an on-time departure. In the meantime, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Welcome aboard.
Didn't tell those air stairs to go away. The air stairs just went away on their own. We still have just a couple minutes left in the boarding process. We want to attach the air stairs and give any last minute folks the opportunity to get aboard. You know, diplomats. Well, actually, in a lot of ways, this would be considered a charter flight, so we wouldn't necessarily have a time schedule. Whenever the last diplomat, or certainly the most important diplomat, were on board, we'd be given the cue to close the doors and lock her on up. know our runway is 26, so I want to get a little bit of a head start and get my heading set to 26, at least initially. Again, we don't have a procedure for leaving this airport, so it's going to be pretty simple. Runway heading will take us to the west, and our routing will continue to the west. So it's pretty much straight shot to Cape Town. There are many things a pilot can control, but sometimes the boarding of the passengers is one thing you don't have a lot of control over.
Hey guys, are we clear to close?
Yes.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
We seem to be buttoned up. Let's finish the checklist.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Are you sure about that? Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Before start, checklist complete.
Oh, she caught me. I should have turned on the beacon light when I started the APU, and that would warn people on the ground not to linger. She keeps me honest. Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback. We are ready to start pushback. Start pushback. We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Understood. Release the parking brakes, please.
Let's just get a clearance. Port Elizabeth ground, Luftwaffe-for tree, request pushback and engine start. Break off.
Pushing back.
Starting engine 2. Starting engine 1.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our flight today. This is the lead flight attendant speaking. Please direct your attention to the cabin crew for port safety information. There is an instruction card in your seat pocket that illustrates the safety equipment on this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information as well as all crew instructions, lighted information signs, and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Doors are clearly marked with exit signs and instructions for door operation. Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the exit nearest you. The nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, lights will illuminate the aisle. The cabin is pressurized. If there is a loss of cabin pressure, a panel will open and oxygen mask will appear. Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and pull a mask towards you to start to full of oxygen. Oxygen will be flowing to the mask even though the bag may not inflate. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the end. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Your seat bottom cushion may be used as a flotation device. Pull up and remove the cushion. Upon exiting the aircraft, place your arms around the cushion and hold on to the strap located on the back. This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is not permitted in the cabin or lavatories. Cabin lights will now be turned off. Reading light buttons are located above your seat. Thank you for your attention.
Cabin crew arm slides and cross-check.
pushback crew might be discouraged by that building right behind us.
The pushers complained, please set the brakes.
Parking brake set. Parking brake set.
Understood. Okay, ground equipment is removed to clear out. Good engine starts from my side. I'll see you at the left side.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks, have a good flight, and we'll see you later.
Port Elizabeth ground, Lufthansa 4 ready to taxi, runway 26. Here is runway 26. So we need to, she's telling us we can cross runway 27 and then to 26. So I'm imagining there's some way of crossing like this. Let's see if there's... I think by her instructions she wants us to go down here. But I think it's best to go this way. I'm going to taxi this way. And I had some taxiing trouble last time I had a flight from Vancouver, Canada. So I think I'm just going to leave this map here and use it for reference.
After start checklist.
Enter ice.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
24% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Flight control check.
Full down. Full up. Neutral. Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Full down. Full up. Neutral. Full right. Full left. Neutral. Oh, you're not going to check your rudder? I guess you're not going to use the rudder on your side. Okay, I understand. We can do that. I'll be totally in control of the rudder. Thank you very much.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Okay, time to go find this mysterious runway 26. We've been cleared for taxi, so let's go.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Check. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Check. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1. VR. V2. Flex temp.
V1 132 VR 133 V2 137
V1 132 VR 133 V2 137 ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff. No blue.
Down to the line.
Going to ding the cabin crew. I don't think that ding to the cabin crew took because it's still on my checklist. You can see my little, there's my EFIS checklist. And takeoff configuration check, this little button right here. And we're all green. And all green is exactly what you want to see. I don't think I need the map anymore. I might drive in the grass a little bit, but I don't think we'll get lost. Hard time making sharp turns with this aircraft. Well, if you don't like me driving through buildings, you shouldn't have put your building here. Sorry to say. Ooh, that building is pretty hard. Well, nobody likes to do this, but let's see if I can back up a little bit. In the old Microsoft, you could run through buildings and objects without much effort. But I guess in this new one, I guess some buildings you can walk through and some you can't. forgotten a lot of control on the ground. Hopefully that'll change in the air. I don't think I've had taxi issues before, but I don't think I've had them to this extreme. Takeoff configuration all green. Landing lights on. Takeoff light on. Port Elizabeth Tower. Lufthansa 4 tree. Ready for departure. Runway 26. I've started the clock. We got our clearance. Let's go.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Pax.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Ready.
Ready.
Take off.
had that alarm because I forgot to turn off the parking brake. And I guess if the parking brake is on, that's not considered takeoff configuration. I don't believe I've ever had this much trouble turning the aircraft on the ground. It's a little frustrating.
Man flex, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue.
Check.
We'll go to the flex temp 56 setting. Flex plus 56 on the throttle. And
Thrust
let's see
set.
if we can get this thing in the air.
One hundred knots.
Check.
V1. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
AP1.
Check.
Flap 0.
Speed check. Flap 0.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Pass.
On.
Down to the line.
The sim seems to be working. Proceed. The sim seems to be working very slow today. I'm wondering if I inadvertently hit a setting that changes the time speed. I don't even know if that's possible in Flight Simulator. Let's maybe I'll do a little research while I'm here. How about if I go to Google? Everything on the internet is always true, so you can trust what Google says. And I'll type in MSFS time acceleration. Control R plus or Control plus R plus. Control plus R plus. Well, let's see if that works. Whoops. Certainly zoom me forward. I don't know if that speeds up the sim or not. Didn't seem to do much for me. I can't tell if we're accelerating in time or not. Don't seem to be making the waypoints any faster. need to adjust something in my overlay because I have the overlay tab on the recording screen, but it doesn't seem to recognize my aircraft. Okay, I wonder if that did the trick. Seems like not. Seems like not. Still missing the live information on our overlay bar. We're above 10,000 feet. Transition altitude. Landing lights off. Runway turn off light off.
Set standard.
Standard cross-check. Passing flight level 110.
Below the line.
Barrel rest.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete. Now.
Check.
Well, I'm afraid that's still going to be a work in progress to get that information updated there on that overlay bar. I'm not sure I can do it while I'm in flight. I've tried a couple of things to no success at all. You know, it's all a learning curve, and I'm hoping this will evolve into a nice stream. I think I've got the webcam image the way I like, as long as the copy holds out.
You have control.
I have control.
Right along the southern tip, southern coast of Africa.
knots heading towards me, altitude, and phase. And that's basically it. So take a project and make sure that you can actually do this work. So that we're putting it together. So, yeah. Make sure to subscribe. And, yeah.
It looks like I have lost the SIM bar entirely, but not to fear. We will attempt to get it back. got a little time now that we're in the climb. Let's plan our arrival. On our sim brief plan, if I remember, we were looking at the Get 1B arrival for runway. Get 1B for runway. Gotta reference this a little bit. 19. Runway 19. Get 1B to runway 19. So let's go to flight plan, destination, arrival, ILS runway 19. There's the Get 1B. No vias, and we'll insert. I'm going to go to the plan view, down to the 10-mile range, and let's skip through our waypoints. It looks like we'll be curling around to the north and then swinging back down to the south, which should be fine. We're at 26, almost 26.9. Our cruising altitude is 270, so we'll turn the seatbelt sign off. Let our good folks have a chance to get out and stretch. going to check out that rate increase. Oh, I don't seem to have a button. Well, let's see here. Let's choose the mouse. And we'll do increase sim rate. Oh. Okay, I think we can now increase and decrease the sim rate. I don't notice any change in the instruments, but if I look outside, I can see we're tracking faster over the ground. So I do believe that was successful. It would be nice if we had an indication of what rate we're accelerated to. It did not affect the zoom. I got rid of the zoom in and out on the keyboard, but that did not affect my zoom in and out on the mouse. See our accelerated rate. Boy, this is just amazing, isn't it? Nothing inside the aircraft has changed, but our rate over the ground has increased markedly. And I think now would be a good time to go back to our standard rate over the ground. Estruck, cleared direct to get it. Well, that's not a whole big amount of clearance. I mean, we're almost there as it is. You know, I just subscribed to Navigraph, and this will be my first time ever using it in the portion. I've already updated my FMS. Well, let's pull out the Navigraph charts. See how we're doing. Here we are. Here's our whole route along the tip of Africa. And with that acceleration, we zoomed by a whole lot of this. We're going to be reaching top of descent here very quickly. And I don't see our... Yeah, the final portion here has not been filled in, which is our arrival, which is the Getty 1B. So let's... Oh, the Getty 1B. Okay, here's the Getty 1B. I wonder why it's not showing us our approach to the runway. Maybe it's because I haven't selected the approach. Runway 19. Oh, that's correct. Getty 1B. That's fine. Okay. Arrivals. Approaches. ILS 19. Add to route. Okay. Transitions. CT. I don't see that CTB in our routing. I'll leave it like that. But you can see that the FMC has got the same routing as the air traffic control program, even though it's not fully complete here on the Navigraph. Getty 1B, ILS. What we're missing is okay, there's getting to Getty 1B to the ILS. Wonder what we're missing. Maybe as far as Navigraph is concerned, we're supposed to be getting
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, from the flight deck, this is the captain speaking. We're going to begin our initial descent here momentarily. At this time, I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign back on, so please return your seats, keep your seatbelts securely fastened until the aircraft is coming to stop. The seatbelt sign has been turned off. It's been our pleasure having you on board for today's flight, and we will see you back on each flight again real soon. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
We have received some company messages. I'm sure they have to do with weather. The weather looks pretty good, so I'm not monstrously concerned. Here, again, METAR is the... this is Capetown. That's a timestamp. Winds at 170 at 18. That's actually pretty strong. We're coming in runway 19. So the wind is just going to be a little off our left, but it's going to be fairly strong. 4,000 feet. Not sure what that means, but I think it's unlimited or clear visibility. Few clouds at 4,000 feet. Temperature 23, dew point 7. Huge spread between the temperature and dew point, so not much fog, no fog at all. QNH 1019, it's a little bit higher pressure than we're sitting at right now. No significant whatever. So we're doing good for weather. We've got a high pressure system and good visibility. That's wonderful. Let's put Navigraph to work. Instead of only having the low altitude en route portion that we were looking at earlier, this portion, let's also get out the, this is the low altitude en route, let's get out the actual approach chart. Okay, I wonder if I can do that here. Show chart in the overlay. Okay, here's the chart in the overlay. If not cleared for an arrival, we have been cleared for arrival. Cleared to the next star entry point at last assigned flight level or flight level 100, whichever is higher. Okay, so we're significantly higher at flight level 210. Before Gatton, proceed to Gatton, enter hold at last assigned flight level for a minimum of 5 minutes, then climb, descend to flight level 100, leave Gatton on after Gatton procedure. After Gatton, continue start, maintain altitude, and passing CTV on 10 track, descend to 6,500, reaching CTV. Okay, so Gatton, minimum of flight level 100, so I think we can drop down to flight level 100.
I have control.
You have control.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Barrel rep.
1013 set.
1013 set. Minimum.
Set.
Set. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete. Cabin crew, prepare for arrival.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that rugged topography. $11 o'clock, 7 miles. I have the traffic. Capetown approach, Lufthansa Fort Tree, traffic insight. Gorgeous, gorgeous. That's why you enjoy Flight Simulator. What eye candy. Still on a steady descent. Good thing we're turning to the right, to the north, and then heading south. We have a range of mountains just ahead of us in the distance. I'm not sure I could clear those mountains. 4,500. Oops. I think the altitude's going to be the hard one to get. She said 345, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are arriving at our destination shortly. You are making a connection to another flight. Please see the customer service agent using the flight or video monitors inside the terminal for connecting information. For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk to the cabin, secure it for landing. We'll be collecting all service items, newspapers, and any other items you wish to discard or not taking off the aircraft with you. Also, in preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices, stow these devices, and all other carry-on items. Please use caution when opening overhead bins, as items may be shifted during our flight. Please stow your tray table and your seats to their upright position, and check the security of your seatbelt. We will be landing shortly. Thank you.
Going to be making a fairly substantial turn to the left here in just a bit. I think that's a good time for a flaps run. Not quite yet. Have I set up the landing? Oh, I have not. My goodness. Let's go ahead and hit that first flap setting now.
Flaps 1.
Check the speed. $217. $3,000 Let's get in another notch of flaps.
Flaps 1.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
1 0 1 3 set.
1 0 1 3 set. Passing 5,200. Now.
Check.
Oh, we are.
Flaps 2.
Speed check. Flaps 2.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Auto brakes to medium.
Checked.
Ground spoilers armed. Landing checklist.
Flaps 3.
Speed check. Flaps 3.
Flaps full.
Speed check.
Flaps full.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew,
Advised.
auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing. No blue.
Landing checklist complete.
We do have one blue item. We need to ding the crew. Now we have no blue. What a wonderful flight. It was a little long, and I'm glad we used the acceleration once we figured it out. There aren't a lot of big airports in Africa. I think the only default airport that is artist rendered is in Entebbe in Central Africa. So these two airports that we've flown through are strictly default. But those mountains along the southern coast, what I mistakenly referred to as the Cape of Good Hope, wonderful. Now, I was later learned that the mountain range on the Atlantic side, that's actually the real Cape of Good Hope. It doesn't, the way I understood it before is it just generally referred to the south tip of Africa, as the old sailing ships would go around the Cape of Good Hope on their spice trades. Looking really good. Pretty, pretty, pretty. We have 2 on the Poppy. Just a little bit high on the Poppy now. Our airspeed is just where it should be. 390 on the radar altimeter. It's a radial beam heading straight down from the bottom of the aircraft. There's a decision height minimums.
Continue.
Ready on the throttle and the reversers.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Spoilers, reverse screen, decel.
Ah, oh my goodness.
5.
That's nasty. That's nasty. Oh goodness. Reversers off.
70 knots.
Well, I don't know the reason, but my taxi ability has returned. On takeoff, I had a very difficult time taxiing. Now let's see if I am able to. Runway lights off. Takeoff lights off. Runway turn-off lights I'll leave on. Lights are on to taxi. Let's get the APU started. Capetown Tower, Lufthansa 4 tree, clear of the active. Capetown Tower, Luftwaffe 4 tree, clear of the active. Capetown Tower, Luftwaffe 4 tree, clear of the active. Capetown Tower, Luftwaffe 4 tree, clear of the active. Capetown Tower, Luftwaffe 4 tree, clear of the active. Capetown Tower, Luftwaffe 4 tree, taxi to parking. Capetown Tower, Luftwaffe 4 tree, request taxi to parking. Capetown ground, Luftwaffe 4 tree, request taxi to parking. Now it's time to give control of the aircraft to our friendly AI pilot, who will, with professionalism and esprit de corps, taxi us professionally to our gate. Let's watch it. take away AI control just for a moment so I can raise my flaps and raise my spoilers. Give it back control. Just want to do a little housekeeping there. That's interesting. We're not able to get a clearance to gate 812. And without a clearance, the AI control won't move the airplane. So, we're going to have to get to a gate on our own. Not my first choice. Well, we were assigned A12, but A11 will have to do. That's terrible, isn't it? Oh, I'm so bad. Last time I could barely get the steering. When I was taking off, I could barely get the nose wheel steering to take effect. Now the nose wheel steering is a little too sensitive. Okay, that was close enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft will park safely at the gate. This will be your indication that it's safe to move about the cabin, gather your belongings, and depart. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We appreciate your business and hope to see you again on a future flight.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarm.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Off.
Predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
Predictive wind shear switch is right down here. We can unarm the spoilers, turn off the transponder, back to off standby mode.
Taxi light off. Parking checklist.
APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seatbelts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
On and in.
Parking checklist complete.
Secure the aircraft, please.
Okay.
Securing the aircraft checklist.
Adheres.
Off.
Oxygen.
Off.
APU bleed.
Off.
Emergency exit light.
Off.
Signs.
Off.
APU and battery.
Off.
Securing the aircraft checklist complete.
Thanks, folks, for joining me. This concludes our stream. Have a great day.